The full tennis match was made by Eala. Stop the world. Not when the winner is down the line, not with an ace that wins the game, but using words. Words that put an end to whole Indian Wells Stadium. A 20-year-old Quezon City resident, ranked 31st in the world, beneath the 16,000 people in the California sun observing each breath she takes. And she decided to discuss something other than tennis, such home, about the individuals she will always remember, about those who are unable to afford to watch her performance. This goes beyond sports. Narrative. This narrative is about what occurs when a girl who was raised watching on borrowed TVs, Manny Pacquiao, makes a decision because celebrity is only noise if it serves no purpose. Remain till the very end because what occurred after she actually spoke. Give you a cold. To see why that Indian Wells moment was so in a different way, you must comprehend where Eala originated, not only geographically, but emotionally, historically, and culturally. Mano, Alexandra. On May 23, 2005, Eala was born in the Philippines. Quezon City is a city of the gap was more than 3 million people. Between the affluent and the impoverished is visible from every corner of the roadway. Her Riza, mother, was the chief financial officer of Globe Telecom officer. Alex did indeed come from a relative privilege. However, the Philippines has a method of ensuring that its kids never forget the streets outside their window. The Philippines' poverty isn't something you can see from a distance. It breathes next you. Additionally, from the Alex was strange at first. She wasn't merely gifted. She knew. Conscious of what she stood for. Conscious that each time she entered a court, millions of individuals in a country that had been deprived of a new champion were observing via their phones, from their offices, from fractured TV screens in barrios, where power is occasionally appears and disappears. Long-standing Filipino athletics TJ Manito, a journalist, detailed the Philippines, a nation that had been eager to see the next Manny Pacquiao. When life halted when he was at his best. When nothing is on the road and there is a brawl. Everyone is observing. Eala took a step silently at first, into that emptiness. Next, suddenly she became the first Grand Slam junior to be won by a Filipino by claiming the girls, you win the singles crown. Singles in the US Open in 2022. She was 17. 17. When the majority of youngsters are determining their goals in life, already, Eala was creating history on the largest stages on the planet. However, the history was only getting started. She arrived at a WTA singles ranking that was a career high of world number 31 on February 23, 2026, making her the top-ranked Filipino in the history of the WTA Tour. The initial Filipino to rank in the top 50. She had defeated champions of the Grand Slam. She was sold out. Stadiums. She had turned tennis into a sport. That hardly makes an impression in Filipino talk about sports, feel like a national faith. However, despite everything of it, she possessed a quality that never quite found a comfortable position. Something that continued to glance back, something that recalled. As you can see it during her interviews. The silent intervals, the appreciation that seems too sincere to be practiced. As Eala states, she doesn't phrase it that way in the Philippines. A tagline is read by a brand advocate. She expresses it as someone would say, home, when too much time has passed since they left. That's the basis for all that took place in Indian Wells. Because of this, the as soon as possible. Continue to watch because the next thing she said startled even those closest to her. The Wells of India, often referred to as the fifth Grand Slam, Open, is a yearly WTA 1000 competition. In California's South. As stated by the Women's Tennis Association, is traditionally the most popular tennis something other than the 4 Grand Slams. Additionally, this was Eala's first time in Indian Wells. Let's that become apparent. Every game she had won, despite all the history she had created, Indian Wells, the breathtaking oasis amid the desert amid swaying palms and white courts, had been anticipating her arrival. The moment, it turned out to be flawless. The previous week, even before the competition began, the excitement was hard to ignore. Chris Eubanks made a statement while speaking on Tennis Channel Live. Direct appeal to the organizers of the tournament. I consider the attention she has been receiving. throughout the previous few months can affect players perform amazing feats. We're hoping to get her in a large court so that everyone can remain secure on the property because there will be a lot of fans arriving to help her. He wasn't exaggerating. Indian Wells needed to take note. From the error made at the Australian Open. Hundreds of supporters at her first Grand Slam were left encircling the arena, unable to find a seat following her placement on a court with the ability to just under 1,500. The business maintained underestimating the size of the movement that she had produced. The competition shared a video of a day in the lives with Eala. That became the most watched by far. The year's best YouTube video. Wells in India shared 9 women on Instagram because its 2026 class. 7 of the top 10 players, a renowned American and Eala. She wasn't placed close to the top. She was not sitting. However, the weight of her name was rankings were unable to convey. Due to there are over 10 million Filipinos outside of the Philippines, such as 1.7 million people in California alone. California is home to Indian Wells. Perform the math. That's not a fan base. That's the power of nature. Her first game lasted for the longest of 2 hours and 43 minutes the day. An arduous 3-set victory over Diana Istaszka is ranked 52nd in the world. 7-5-4-6-7-5. The desert air was chilly late at night. And they continued to stay. Each and every one of them. Following the game, Eala revealed reporters so they can put in the work to stay cold, stay up late, and encourage me. It truly added to the emotions and sentiments. She was about her followers, but it sounded as though she was discussing something larger, something she had been carrying and awaiting an answer. The following day, at a press availability meeting following her, a blockbuster round was ensured with a draw. 32 games against Coco Gauff that the tennis community had been hoping since Eala walked when the draw was announced. Entered the space and altered the whole dialogue. What she stated, no one had a script for what came next. It began much like every other news conference. A few inquiries on her readiness for golf, a query on the audience, the Indian Wells vigor, typical stuff. Alex responded with her customary kindness, calm, reflective, and grinning. And after that, one reporter posed a query that nobody expected it to land that way. It was basic, practically disposable. Something like, "Alex, your fan base has significantly expanded. What do you think you owe them, if anything?" A pause occurred, the kind of silence that permeates a space. And after that, Eala stared straight into the camera. And she uttered a quiet, unequivocal clarity that she had been considering this for a very long time, that the affection she obtained from Filipino populations globally was something no ranking, no award, and no sponsorship agreement could ever pay back. That she had awakened close the sacrifices made by Filipino families simply to follow her. Parents missing meals in order to get tickets for a game. Foreign workers congregating in apartments to observe her at 3 in the morning. Participate in competitions throughout Europe. She stated she desired to return something, not as a publicity stunt rather than a headline, but because she was actually having trouble falling asleep, that being aware that those applauding sometimes the people were the loudest. Having the most difficulty. Next, she declared the creation of the AYA Foundation, a non-profit organization with an $50 million first contribution was intended to at aiding underprivileged Filipino communities with an emphasis on educational access, medical treatment for children and young people's sports development. She claimed to have been discreetly working on this for some months, that she had conferred with her relatives, that she wanted to confirm its authenticity. Prior to her speaking it aloud, the space became quiet. Not the courteous quiet of a press conference. The type of quiet it occurs when something sincere and unanticipated successes. Reporters ceased typing. The cameras continued to roll. As no one moved to make a cut. A journalist from the Philippines near the rear of the room, her man was observed being pressed against her. Then, suddenly, the room erupted. At home in the Philippines, it was past midnight already. However, the media never sleeps. A selection of the announcement started to circulate within minutes. In the morning, Eala's name was popular in the Philippines, in the Australia, Spain, and the United States, everywhere she had ever participated in a game in the stands with Filipino supporters. However, this is when things become tricky, since not everyone took part in the celebration. Notoriety in the era of social media has two sides. And Alex Eala, if she really knew it or not, had previously encountered long before Indian Wells. I experienced this firsthand. This is something to celebrate. You can't learn from headlines. For more than Alex Eala had been a recurring target of misinformation on the internet campaigns that misrepresented huge charitable deeds to her credit. False claims that she donated 10 million to a charity for kids. False posters asserting that she donated almost $4 million pesos to elderly people who are homeless in city of Quezon. A post on Facebook asserting she gave disaster relief $500 million. Northern Cebu survivors were given 347,800 views, 1 million more than 3,000 comments and likes prior to it was refuted. The worst part, some posts even stated that she gave her total prize money and sponsorships, misrepresented as $15.9 million, to a sanctuary for the destitute in Metro Manila. This earned over a Facebook post 200K reactions and likes. All fraudulent, all made up, all utilizing her name, her image, her resemblance to produce interaction, clicks, and occasionally to drive visitors to fraudulent websites. Thus, when the actual announcement was made when Alex Eala truly formally devoted to laying a foundation with actual resources, an odd and very unfair event occurred. Some individuals didn't trust it. The youngster who sobbed wolf had worn Alex Eala's for a year. The internet had been misled so several times in her name that when the truth came, it had to overcome layers of cynicism in order to be heard. Within hours, critics surfaced online. Some claimed it was a timed publicity effort to her run in Indian Wells. Others questioned the $50 million amount. Where was it coming from? Was it actual cash or pledged funds? Was the basis signed up? Was it clear? And after that, the political voices were present. Within a nation in which athletes carry enormous cultural significance, some politicians started to position themselves around the announcement. A few compliments it, others wondering if the government ought to take greater action so that a tennis player in his 20s lacked to. One commenter responding to the previous fraudulent claims of donation had been made. Those politicians with trillions of dollars don't even make a contribution, and their money is derived from their thefts. Those avaricious politicians. Now with the actual declaration on the table, that Alex Eala's feelings exploded. Unintentionally and completely with the intention of igniting a political fire. There was a lot of noise, and somewhere in 20-year-old Indian Wells, California was getting ready to take on Coco Gauff on a stadium court. How she responded to what next reveals everything about her identity. Truly is. Let's clarify what the announcement from the Eala Foundation truly was and what it wasn't due to the sound. It had a method of burying the material. This wasn't an impulsive, this was not a press conference. So, Alex Eala's surroundings, her family, her management group, and those who having observed her development from a junior champion into a worldwide celebrity, all verified that the discussions regarding giving back had been taking place for years prior to her breaking the top 100 years before to the Miami Miracle, lengthy prior to Indian Wells. Riza, her mother Manoa, had worked for Globe Telecom for years, a company with strong ties to Philippine development programs. The concept of philanthropy was not new to the family. What had changed was that she had the platform, and Alex had the bravery to put it to use. The three pillars of the Eala Foundation, access to education, youth sports, pediatric healthcare, weren't picked at random. They represented Alex's personal observations of the gap size. She had traveled to the provinces for promotional activities and observed kids using damaged rackets to practice tennis on. She had heard tales of fractured concrete from Filipino employees abroad regarding putting their kids in underfunded schools that shared textbooks 3 to a desk. She had talked in her calmer off-court conversations about wanting tennis to be more than just a wealthy individual's sport in the Philippines. Eala had co-led the #Myo in February 2026 narrative campaign to create a digital hamlet of champions. It wasn't simply, it was a sign of an endorsement deal. She was already considering community, mentoring, and legacy. The foundation came next. Bigger step. Concerning the $50 million figure, It symbolized a blend of her devoted personal commitment, a similar dedication from corporate partners who had previously been private discussions for months with her team, and the creation of a fundraising goal more than 5 years. This wasn't transferred in a single check. It was a structure, a promise that has a framework. This is the aspect of Alex Eala that the detractors who jumped to social media in she seemed to miss those early hours. "I've never been a good person. For the camera," as she put it, "being the best thing I can do is to be bold. Myself." Her bravery isn't simply about winning a match with a forehand spot. The idea is to stand in front of the globe and declaring, "I see what matters, and I'll take action." Regarding it, the basis in that context wasn't at all unexpected. This is where we end up because it's inevitable. Alex Eala was not limited to Indian Wells to play tennis. She arrived to create a declaration that will last longer than any trophy, any scoreline, any ranking. She arrived at declare, "I'm more than